God has this private meeting with Joshua to do three things in his life. One is to put a burden on him. Two, to put a book in him. And thirdly, to give him a blessed assurance. God has this private meeting with Joshua, and I must confess, Bishop and Pastor Watson, I'm kind of envious of what God did with Joshua. God had the private meeting with Joshua and took Joshua through the whole deal. He didn't have to scratch his head. Now God, why did you put me here? He didn't have to go through all of these struggles to find out just what is it you want me to do here. For me, it was a journey. It's a journey of private meeting after private meeting after private meeting. But here, Joshua got the whole thing up front. As to what God's future is for his people, that he's to lead them toward and into. He was not to be a Moses. Moses left his mark and he had his future to lead them into, but now there's another part of the future, because as long as the church is the church and Nazarene is Nazarene, there is a future after the next future after the next future. And so in this private meeting, he puts a burden on Joshua. Pastor Watson, God has put a burden on you. And you can't take it off. He put a burden of responsibility on you. And that burden involves in verse 2 a commission. He's sending you to do something in his name. So you can read that verse and just pick out what the commission is. God already has it set where they're going. And God has it set what he wants Joshua to do. He has it set what he wants you to do. You like most of us, for some reason, God chooses to just put us in meeting after meeting with him. And that's a good thing. To spend time with God, to keep going to him and asking him, Lord, what's next? Or Lord, what do you make of this? Where I am right now. There is this commission that he got in one big meeting. But for us, we get it piecemeal. And sometimes it's nerve-wracking. And it wears out our knees. But there's a commission. And he tells him that you got a burden on you and you can't take it off. There's a commission I've given to you to take this people into the future I have for them. But not only is there a commission, there is a conflict. No leader can lead God's people and is always peaches and cream. No leader can lead God's people and they are just going to be obedient unto God 24/7. No leader can lead God's people and try to keep everybody walking together and on the same page. He says to him that there are going to be conflicts. This burden will involve a commission. This burden will involve conflicts. And I want you to know that even though it involves conflicts, there is you need to know that men will come against you, but none shall be able to stand. Don't worry about who's coming against you. Just hear, let them come on. And when you get through coming, I'm still standing. Because you didn't set me here. The Lord put me here as successor next. So you don't have to fight. And please don't take a page out of any one of our colleagues' books. Sometimes God's people can aggravate the leader so, or he lets them aggravate him so until they either mess up like Moses and have to pay for it, or either they start calling people of God unbiblical names. Look. If you got to call the people of God names, select one that God selected and called them. If they're acting like backsliding heifers, God said that first. I'm just joking, y'all. But you get the point. Don't let it get next to you, because you have a burden on you not to be distracted, but to lead them into his future. There's a commission, there's a conflict, and then there's a consolation in the burden. In verse 6, the Lord says to Joshua, be strong and of good courage, because nothing that you come up against or that tries to come against you will delay or cancel what I'm sending you to do for them. They're going to get the land. And so, Pastor Watson, you're going to have some more private meetings. Because I know if anybody were to interview right now and ask you, what does our future look like? You say, where are we exactly going? You might have some notion, some inkling, but in the comprehensive detail, you don't know. But you must keep the private meeting with the Lord, and he'll make it plain. God has a private meeting with Joshua, leader next. Let him know that he's put a burden on him with the commission that will have conflicts, but there's a consolation. He can be of good courage and be strong. But then the Lord in this private meeting not only places a burden on Joshua and a burden on Pastor Watson, but he talks about this book. Verses 7 and 8, and the language of this book is in verse 8. Again, God sets and directs where ministry is to go, where people are to be led. But then he says to him that now you're going to have to be strong again. But look what he adds an adverb to another adverb. He said, and be very courageous. How many know that there's a difference between being of good courage and being very, very courageous?